Welcome to the channel, and in today's video we are once again doing a recap and review of Love Island USA in Las Vegas season 2 episode 23. So just before we get started, a couple things. If you are new here, please go ahead and subscribe so you can continue to get content that I provide on this show and a couple of other shows that I do, like Married at First Sight, The Bachelor and Bachelorette. And then also feel free to comment because I do shout outs as well. I also, speaking of doing shout outs, want to give a shout out to a health and wellness company called Her Two Beauty Bar. They specialize in natural skincare, where they have these absolutely wonderful body butter, sugar scrub, cleansing soap, milk. I actually use this product and I wanted to share it with you guys as well. And everything is all natural. I mean, it really softens the skin. So go over there and check them out. They have free shipping. They ship around the globe. And then also too, you can buy 2 and get 1 item free. So the link is in the description below if you want to check them out. Okay, so let's get started and jump into this tea, because we got a lot of tea with one particular couple. But we're going to knock out 2 other couples because there wasn't a lot of content on everybody else because it was so laser focused on one specific couple. So let's start off first and speak on Laurel and Carrington. Laurel had a sit-down conversation with Carrington, and her question was, if this is real, what is going to be the next step? And Carrington was saying, if I leave here tomorrow with you, we definitely won't be boyfriend and girlfriend, but us living, one of us in Utah, one of us in Alabama, it's far, but we can still take it one day at a time. And she seemed to be okay with that. But looking at Carrington's demeanor, I don't think he's 100% in with this. It's still pretty new with these two coming out for Casa Amor. And I don't know. I read comments from yesterday in regards to Carrington. Don't seem like he's 100% sold into this thing with Laurel. But, yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, he can barely look at this girl. And I've said this in previous commentaries about Carrington, is that he has a problem with eye contact. And that's usually sometimes a red flag with some people. Either that means that they're shy or maybe they're not being 100% genuine. So I don't know. We'll see as time go on. I think we got another couple weeks in the villa, so we'll see. But, I mean, she's definitely all in. They turn it in, sleep, they cuddle at night. But, I mean, that's pretty much it about these two. They really didn't have a lot. They had, some things to say in the Suckerpunched game. But we'll get to that later because that definitely leads into something else. So, let's move on. We will now talk about Kirsten and Calvin, or shall I say Kirsten and Kirsten, because Calvin really didn't get too much content today either. So, she had some conversation with Noah, and, Noah was telling her, hey, you definitely caught my eye, and it seemed like you put Calvin in the friend zone. And, she was pretty much straight up. She was like, I really don't know, if anything is going to go anywhere with Calvin. And Noah was like, you're number 1 on my list. And she's like, hold on. What about Maura? I mean, because you said you came in looking at her before anybody. And, he was like, excuse me. He was like, yeah, but I like you. I like your eyes. And she liked his eyes. But she did mention something pretty interesting. She said that she noticed that Noah was looking from her eyes to her boobs, and I tried to get a shot of that, and I did. And I thought that, you know what, girl, yeah. Is he really into you, or is he into the girls? So, I don't know about him. But she definitely caught that, which was great, because she noticed that, he had other things that he was definitely paying attention to. So, she decided to go and have a conversation with Bennett. And I actually think, looking at the two of them, they definitely have more of a better connection than she would have with Noah. And, Bennett was like, hey, I'm interested to getting to know you. And Kirsten was like, I'm glad that you're here. And she was talking about how well he dressed, and she was looking at his eyes, and he's easy to look at, and he's attractive, and looked like they kind of hit it off pretty quickly. So, I mean, guys, you tell me in the comments what you think. I think if she's looking to try to maybe build a connection with someone, I think she should go for it with Bennett. I don't see it there with Calvin. I definitely don't see it there with Noah, because he's looking and focused on something else. But I honestly think that, this one might be a good fit for her. And then they were definitely very touchy-feely, which, again, that's her love language. She liked physical touch. So that was definitely perfect for her. And I think on their date, I think she went on a date with him. There was physical touch there too. So yeah, this might be a winner chicken dinner. All right, so let's move on to the biggest piece of content today, which was the whole thing with Cely and Johnny. But we left off yesterday with the date that Cely had with Bennie. And of course, you see Johnny is over there peeking in with his fake binoculars. But she and Bennie came back to the villa after having their little date. And the girls was like, oh my God, you look so different. You're glowing. And I'm like, okay, really? All right. I know y'all trying to stick it to Johnny, but okay. But the girls told her that Johnny was watching from above. And then the boys were, of course, making fun of Johnny. You over there, you shaking in your boots. You seem like you're kind of nervous. And then, of course, there was the conversation that Bennie had with his fellow newbies about the fact that, yeah, it seems like he's shaking some things up in the house. And how, he really enjoyed his date with Cely. But pretty much most of the conversation about what happened with the date was Cely was saying that he was a lot of fun. He was very cool. And she was excited to go on a date. I guess because she had been locked up with Johnny for so long, to actually be asked on a date with someone else, she thought that was pretty exciting. And the interesting thing that I will mention that Cely said about Bennie is that shows a strong and bold individual, because she also had the same conversation not only with the girls, but she had this conversation with Johnny a little bit later, that it's bold of him to come in to try to go after somebody that is looking like they're completely solid and sewed up. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that he wanted to just shake some things up, or do you think that shows a lot of confidence on his part? So I'm not sure. Johnny, you can definitely tell that there were some insecurities there. And how, honestly, they needed to have some conversation. And, of course, that's where it leads us to. They actually have some conversation because, of course, Johnny wants to get the tea on her date with Bennie. And, his question, well, first of all, he was talking about how good she looked. And that outfit was really, really cute on her. But he was like, man, I wished I could have picked out your outfit, because I would have put you in overalls and stuff like that. I'm like, really, dude? Okay. But she was like, do you miss me? And he was like, yes. And, she started telling him the same thing that she told the girls, that he was very cool, and that he's been watching me for weeks. And I thought that was kind of bold of him, to be able to come in here knowing that I was already sewed up pretty much with you. And Johnny was like, look, let me just ask you, are you open to him? Because I need to be clear on what you're going to do. And see, this is this particular scene right here, it kind of turned controlling to me with Johnny. I don't know if you guys think that. Let me know down in the comments if what your thoughts was about this particular interaction, because he was like, I need you to go tell him that if you're not interested, not only do you need to tell him, he needs to know that we're together. And it was like he was trying to tell her what to do, and then he turns around and said, well, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Yeah, you are. And it shows a lot, because he seemed to be so strong and grounded, but the moment that he feels that, Cely may be 1 foot out the door, he's losing it. And it was, to me, it was low-key controlling. I mean, honestly, I was not feeling Johnny in this particular moment. And of course, that had to make Cely feel some kind of way, because to me, I'll be looking at him like, wait a minute. You did all what you did in Casa Amor, and then you trying to control the situation that I'm in, And then he goes and he was like, I just need you to be clear with me, because I don't want to waste my time and waste your time. And, you need to let me know. And if you are in, you need to make sure that he know this. And I'm like, okay, dude, you need to chill out. Especially what you coming off of in Casa Amor. So, of course, feeling some kind of way, Cely went and had some conversation with Justine. And, Justine is like, what is going on? And she was like, I don't understand why he's acting this way. I mean, I told him he has nothing to worry about, but I'm confused, and am I missing something? And I mean, Justine was like, yeah, you've done nothing wrong. I don't understand why he is making you feel like you've done something wrong. And again, to me, that's red flags for me. I don't know about you guys that's listening, my subbies, but to me, that's low-key controlling. I was definitely not getting good vibes in that conversation. And then, of course, he goes back to the villa. I mean, to the guy's locker room, or I don't want to call it a beauty room. I don't know what they call that. But he's like, oh, yeah, it's done. She's done. And she likes him. And that's where we are. And I know this got everything to do with what I did in Casa Amor. And Carrington was like, dude, it's only been one conversation. What's the problem? And Johnny is like, oh, my God, she's conflicted. I'm wondering if she wants this to happen. And I'm like, wow. And Carrington is like, dude, it's only been one conversation. Why are you tripping out like that? And honestly, yeah, I mean, I understand that you feeling some kind of way that you screwed up. Okay, you need to feel that guilt because you was wrong. But at the same token, like Carrington said, is a lot of this have to do with the fact that you feel guilty. Is there something else? So, she's still having a conversation with Justine. And, I mean, I feel for her, because the way he came with that conversation, it was just not, it would leave you feeling like, okay, why are you trying to tell me what to do? Why are you trying to control me? I only had one date with Bennie. I told him, where I stand in regards to me being with you. And you making me feel like I did something wrong. That's not fair. And especially he has no room to talk. That's the problem with this. My ranking has definitely, or rating has definitely dropped with these two. Not so much on behalf of Cely, but on Johnny's side of this thing. I mean, I think I have been rating it a 9.5. I'm going to bring them down probably to a 7. Because he definitely didn't, and look, what Carrington was saying, I totally agree with him. I'm like, dude, your guilt is eating away at you. What else did you do that you feel in some kind of way when she told you we're good? So this guy here, Bennie, I mean, he's sitting back watching all of this unfold while he's having a meltdown. Cely's having doubts. I mean, he's like, yeah, I didn't really shake some things up. And he's feeling himself right now. So, dude, don't get too cocky because anything can happen on Love Island. So now we kind of swap here. And now we got Justine having a conversation with Johnny. And, you know, the conversation that she has with him, it was Johnny's talking about the fact that why does I have to give explicit details of what happened with that kiss? I mean, who wants to hear that? And, you know, Justine is like, well, she do, and that's important. He was like, why? And, you know, honestly, it depends on the person. There are some people like, I really don't want to know. Just the fact that you did it, you screwed up, I ain't feeling that. There are other people that's like, yeah, give me every detail of what happened. So, I mean, it could go either way, in my opinion. And then, of course, Caleb is like, dude, you know, hey, you need to chill out. He was getting his sleep disturbed. He's trying to chill out with Justine. And Johnny got all this drama going on, which was all caused by him. This is all predicated on your bad behavior in Casa Amor, and it's coming back to bite you. And that's why I was saying yesterday's episode, Cely doesn't have to play any games. The karma, the universe, whatever spiritual you believe in, is going to come back at him, and now it is. So sometimes you just got to let things unfold. So he decided to have a sit-down conversation because of everybody telling him, you need to chill out. And the conversation that, you know, he had with her was like, you know what, I'm sorry. I didn't want to make you feel like I'm controlling you, and that you had to actually go back and try to tell him where he needs to stand and where we are. I don't want to put you in that position. And yeah, dude, I mean, honestly, you need to deal with whatever you need to deal with, but don't make her, you know, get out of character because of what you got going on. You know, she went on one date. She told the dude, hey, I'm with Johnny. Let's leave it as is. But because you know you did something, you know, now you got to shake up the whole villa talking to everybody. So he got to go figure that out. And it seemed like for the moment, they did figure it out because he was like, I told you, it was just a kiss. It wasn't nothing else, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they ended up where she was caressing his head and forehead. He's smiling. Everybody's smiling. They cuddled up. And that's where we are for the moment. So now we have Noah who gets a text. I got a text. And the text that he received was the Suckerpunched challenge text. The truth is about to come out, and the truth hurts, as this thing says. So we'll see what truths come out. So, you know, they definitely always have the intro scene before their challenges of them running down, dressed up in these costumes. And I think it's cute. It keeps it interesting because being in a quarantine, they are stuck at the villa, so they have to keep it fun and creative for them, you know. So that's cool. The set looked pretty cool and fun as well. But they had the 3 new guys be the host. And what this game was pretty much about is America got to tweet about what they've seen so far, and then to basically state which, and they had to guess basically of what America was talking about. So the first one was about who has a great fashion sense, and that everybody voted and said who they thought it was about, and it was Justine. The second one was who has no idea of what they want, and I thought that, and that was Connor, and I thought that was so funny. He was talking about that bidet that he did with in the I think that what they call that little hideaway or something. He said, America, until you've been in that dealt with a bidet, then you come for me, or something like that. It was so funny. I like him. He got a sense of humor. All right, and then the next one they was talking about is the person that hopped from girl to girl, and that was of course Calvin. And Calvin looking like, really? Yeah, but not in a way you think. It's because the girls keep friend zoning him. So he had to move on to the next. All right. And then the next one, they got a tweet from Chrissy Teigen. And I remember it was from the episode when they was over by the little area over there making, I think, coffee or something. And he said he was Chrissy and she was John Legend. So it was cute that Chrissy Teigen watched the show and she was able to reach out to the both of them. And they thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was cool. So then the next one was about who's deep as a puddle. And of course, everybody did their votes there. And who was deep as a puddle with Laurel was Carrington. Whatever that meant. And then he quoted something trying to be deep. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. All right. And then the next one was this person who was most likely to dump somebody. And that was Maura dumping Connor. That was funny. The minute a new dude shows up, guess what, Connor? You're about to be dumped. And that's probably true, knowing Maura. All right. And then, of course, the next one was two people that have a romantic interest and or energy and coming from Calvin. And everybody thought it was Kirsten, but it was actually Calvin and Laurel. I could actually see that. Because Carrington is just so, I don't know. I like to see that. What about you guys? And then here we go with the last question, which triggered a doozy for the remainder of the show. Somebody need to tell the truth because somebody only told half of the truth in Casa Amor. And you know who that was. And you know what? Here's the thing that Johnny tried to do with basically doing damage control. Of course, he knew it was him. And so, he's like, you know what? Let me just get it out here. And he spoke in front of the entire group. But of course, they got Cely feeling some kind of way because she's like, well, is it something else that I don't know that he didn't tell me? And of course, Bennie's over there looking like, if you only knew. Okay, so this is what I kind of want to discuss with you guys because there was a scene and I couldn't find it. I know I probably could go back and get it where they went to sleep in Casa Amor and Mercedes was in the bed with him and they pulled the cover over his head. Now, the thing is, America, whoever's watching across the globe, we really don't know what happened under those covers. But then there's the other side of the coin where the question remains, why did you have to hide under the covers? I mean, anytime they do a bedroom shot, you normally see people laying with their backs to each other, feet out, arms everywhere, but why did you have to get under the cover? So it's something there that we don't know, and we'll probably never know unless maybe Mercedes come back. That would be a twist. So, of course, there's a bunch of conversations going on because, of course, now there is a suspicion of doubt, and of course, Caleb is looking like, man, this is new information to me, especially with them finding out about the whole being up under the sheets thing. I just hate that, they're going through this because I actually was rooting for them for the period of time that they've been a couple, and it's unfortunate that this is where we are. I mean, Cely is gorgeous. Guys were coming through, several of them, and she chose to stick it out. She didn't mess up. She didn't even give them a blink of an eye, a kiss, which is what she was talking about with the girls. Whereas the moment Mercedes came into Casa Amor, Johnny lost his mind. And I mean, Caleb is like, dude, telling Cely, you know, hey, we're not covering for him. I'm just finding out about the whole thing about him being up under the sheets and everything, you know. And that, I mean, honestly, Cely had a good point. I mean, you guys haven't said anything to me, and we're all friends. What's up with that? And and he was like, I didn't know all half of this stuff. I didn't know it either. So, it's unfortunate. And then, of course, there's the conversation that, again, Justine is having, with Johnny. And, you need to figure that out. I mean, she basically is, why is it that Casa Amor keep coming up with you? She's telling you she's loyal, and you keep bringing it up. Your insecurities is getting in the way. So she goes and have a conversation with one of the new guys because, of course, they've seen the show before coming onto the show. So she pulls Noah to the side, and Noah just pretty much gave her the tea. Oh, yeah. She licked whipped cream off of him, and, then he laid a heavy kiss on her, and then there was the scene with the sheets and stuff, and she's like, wait a minute, that's not consistent with what he told me. And then, of course, some people tend to rationalize, well, maybe he didn't want to hurt me, and, maybe he didn't want to, because he knew I would feel some kind of way about that. And Noah was like, yeah, but he should have said something to you. I mean, that should tell you something. Now, again, he watched what we watched. We still, none of us know what happened under the sheets. However, it is highly suspect. Were you guys heavy petting? Did there was touching? We don't know. And we won't know unless, like I say, they do a twist and bring Mercedes back. So, coming to the end, I mean, Justine is disappointed because these two pretty much, she had Johnny, Justine had Caleb. They're best friends. Everybody was the four of them was a quad, and now it's kind of shaken. So, of course, Justine is feeling some kind of way. And, Cely is like, what should I do? And then, of course, Johnny is sitting over there and having a conversation with Caleb, like, dude, I mean, what do I do here? And, he was like, yeah, you need to figure this out. You got to get rid of the insecurities. You got to stop beating yourself up and, figure this thing out. Take some accountability. Come clean with everything with her. And I totally agree with that. He's going to have to come clean with everything. It's better that it comes from him than from anybody else. Whether it's one of the guys or even if they bring Mercedes back, it needs to come from him. And it's interesting that Justine, and I love the wisdom that she had with this when she asked Cely if the roles were reversed and this was Caleb in the situation and me being on the receiving end, what should I do? And Cely said, it's not worth it. So think about that, Cely. So we're going to do our post notification shout outs. And if you want to shout out, comment down below and I pick people every video. So the first one is going to go out to Cutie Bond. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel. I so really appreciate it. And then our next one is Reby Swift. Thank you as well for engaging in the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, smash that notification button, and we'll see you on Sunday.